Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Me and Will are back today to do a Marvel Plus talk on Loki, episode 2, titled The Variant. Of course, uh, this is the second episode of Loki for this weekend. And so, Will, let me ask you something. So far, what's your feelings on this show and what you thought about this episode?
I'm really enjoying the show so far.
Mm.
I think there's a lot of fun like time travel stuff in it. Tom Hiddleston as Loki is always good. His chemistry with Owen Wilson is like continuing to like grow and just
Yeah.
like be really entertaining. So I'm really liking it.
Yeah, me too as well. I think this one, I think episode 2 was a much better episode over episode 1. Um, I, I think there's a confidence in this series compared to the other two Disney Plus shows that we've been discussing. Um, I would say I was very impressive. We're moving very well with the plots and in the overall narrative in the show. So that was good for me. And I've been very impressed of the production design of the show and like the overall performance of Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson has been great. I'm just shocked that we having like a buddy comedy uh, show with those two. Like I never expected this, you know, duo to be the best. You know, I it's just surprising and just and then and of course the big surprise that we kind of knew, but like I was very happy we confirmed that like right away, and so I'm very intrigued on the next episode to talk about the female Loki or Atlantis, which people are, I don't know, like dubbing that, but we'll discuss that another time. In the episode here, but all right, let's kind of start from kind of like the opening. What do you thought about the opening in 1985 and the restaurant fair?
Yeah. Um, that was cool. I feel like that I Need a Hero song has been in like everything this week.
Yeah, I heard
But
that. What's going on?
right. I don't know. I guess it's just like parallel thinking, I guess. But
I,
yeah, and I can't hear that song and not think of Shrek 2.
oh
So
my God,
it kind
Shrek
of took
2.
it took me out of it a little bit, but
Oh my God, I know. Oh my God, I yeah, that opening scene was amazing. I just love the like I first off saying up the mood of the whole oral episode, like showing how smart and very different this version of Loki is,
mhm.
and I feel like this opening really conveyed that very well, and of course a shout out to the actress Sasha Lane, who I really like. She was in one of my favorite movies, Hearts Beats Loud, starring Nick Offerman. Really like her, and she's in other things I can't uh, top of my mind right now, but she was great, and I like how she was in this episode, and it was kind of interesting to see like the power set of Loki, this version that we're seeing, and so I think that the whole thing was great, and just say in the 80s was like very clever and very sci-fi, and yeah, and then the tune of what's that song now? um, uh, well, what's that song again? Oh my God, I,
I
holding
Need a
out.
Hero or
Yeah,
Holding Up Her Hero, yeah.
yeah, for Bonnie Taylor. That was a great needle drop for this episode, and like,
Mhm.
it was incredible. And then, afterwards, after the titles, we get into Loki, and like, I was really, I was very interested to see Loki. Um, I love the recurring gag, um, that like he didn't read like he didn't practice or read what is it, the manual of the time variant stuff, but he did. Like he knows everything. that was kind of cool. Like, of course, he was with Miss Minutes, and like she's trying to question him about the information that he needs to know. Like uh, the what was it? The the
Like
next,
the redlining.
yeah, the red lighting, and then the Nexons, and like at first he's just like making like a joke to everyone that he doesn't know, but then in reality he does know. And
Right.
like that was a funny gag for me that throughout the episode was so funny.
Yeah.
Um,
And I liked that Miss Minutes was like also a physical like hologram. That
mm,
was fun.
yes, I know.
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, and the thing is, she's in the posters, and
Yeah, it was. I was really excited for like the poster when I saw that because I was really hoping that the clock person would be like a physical thing and not just like a little cartoon. So seeing her like standing on the desk was fun.
yes, I know. Oh my god. And Tara Stone, amazing actress.
Mhm.
Love her so much, and it's great that she's getting like a lot to do in the show. And so that's great, and hopefully they pay that off. Like she will be something, I guess. Um, yeah, and then um, and of course when Ola Wilson and Loki, well, Morbius, Loki, and the other like Minutemen, with B, uh, Hunter C-20, no, no, not Hunter C-20. What's the other? Hunter B-15, going over to the Wisconsin 1985, and I like how in that scene where Loki is talking about like it's a trap, and like he is like explaining how this how he thinks what's gonna happen, like what's the strategy of this version of Loki, and like it was a cool scene, and I love. I mean, that was a good scene with Tom Hiddleston, and then I love with Morbius, just Mobius, uh, just yeah, kind of just stopping and say, "Look, I know you're tricking us, and this is not real." And like he just wasted time, and that
Yeah,
was like, oh my god,
it's
that
really well
was
done.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh my yeah, yeah, and oh my god, and then um oh my god, and then like and then afterwards we get a very interesting scene talking with Mobius talking to his boss, uh, Reverend Rain Sailor, the judge
Yeah.
from episode one, and it was a very interesting conversation, and like and her office was very interesting. We have of course the three timekeepers, as statues, and then we see artifacts that she has, and like it was very interesting. Like, and then the one thing that was kind of interesting that everyone is kind of curious about is the pen that she gave to Mobius to sign the case stuff that happened that day, and like he said he didn't see that, and so first off, you think there's any like setup with the pen and stuff like that,
Yeah,
or
I mean, there's got to be like someone else that she's been working with,
oh,
right? Like,
right?
'cause there's another agent that she's working with.
I mean,
So I feel like there's got to be something with that, or it could be WandaVision's astrophysicist again.
oh my god,
It's
yeah,
just like nothing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, I, I think now it could be more legit because of what happened towards the end of the episode.
yeah,
Like,
no, I think this has more of a chance of being something
yeah,
because it felt like they were deliberately setting it up, like they had Mobius mention it a few times in the scene.
yeah, yeah, and of course her character is actually interesting. She's actually I say it, like a lot of people um okay, yeah. So her character is a lover for King the Conqueror, and
Huh?
so many analysis thinking that you know that maybe something is kind of connected to her and to the main villain for Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, Quantum
Mm.
Mania, and which we'll also go discuss the theories about Kang coming, supposed to be in the show, maybe not, but
Yeah,
like,
I have a feeling he won't be,
yeah,
but
I mean,
I think Kang is the Mephisto of this show,
oh my
where
god,
everyone thinks he's going to show up, and
yes,
he will not.
I know, ugh, um, but I have a theory, because Crane is, in the comics he's like a version of Reed Richards, and
Hmm.
I had this idea that maybe this version is going to be different, and I know who he's going to be, but I'm going to say that towards the end. But because yeah, and so it's no convenience that she's here. The fact that we're going to set up Kane and and the multiverse stuff here.
Hmm.
So I'm very curious, and I mean we could have a post credit scene of her meeting the Conqueror soon.
Hmm.
So let's keep that in mind. That post credit scenes are here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And unlike uh, Mephisto, Kang actually is an actor, so
uh-huh.
I guess it's a little more likely.
Yeah,
But
it's a little more
I don't know.
likely. Yeah.
I think
Um,
we shouldn't just like assume that it will happen. I
yeah.
think
No.
we should. It's a
I'm
possibility, but it's not like.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't have to see him physically.
Mhm.
She could just easily call him, and like
Right.
that's it, and like we
Yeah.
get some of the idea. Because I mean, Marvel, the MCU, has these very like vague post credit scenes, and
Mhm.
and it, it's a lot of like digging and analysis about what's going to be the next film, and what's going to be the next Disney Plus now, but anyway, yeah, I really like that scene, and like and it was kind of like an in-swing like a par on Mobius and the judge, and I felt like they really had chemistry, and it's like she likes Mobius, and like Mobius likes her, and it's kind of interesting how their friendship or relationship is going to develop in the series. Um, After the second episode here, and then of course we get Loki waiting for him coming, getting out of the office, and then I like the conversation they have. I try to figure out, is this afterwards they sit down in the cafeteria and they had their discussion about the jet ski.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, oh my god, great scene, and probably the like most like what was it like um uh philosophical talk about reality, free will, and like and then just being a funny conversation about jet ski is like, oh my god, and that was my favorite scene from Owen Wilson as an actor. I just
Hmm.
felt like he saw that so perfectly.
Yeah.
um what do you think about that scene?
Yeah. I really liked the idea of like a time fugitive hiding out in apocalypses. I thought that was a really
Yes.
clever idea.
uh
And then I really liked Loki's description and how he like
Use the salad.
ruined, yeah, he ruined the
Yes.
salad to explain it when he did not have to. And that felt very like mischievous.
Well, and it's one of the best um, ways to do exposition.
Hmm.
Like, I like it was a funny, entertaining scene
Right.
and not a dull and boring scene.
Right.
If
It
you
wasn't
have
just someone like spouting
exactly,
science fiction babble at you. Yeah.
yeah, like if you have a scene with the actors, doing these like science, explanation, and if you don't have the right like rhythm and like
Hmm.
energy, you're gonna completely lose your audience completely. And like with this scene, with the salad scene of Loki explaining about that his version is hiding somewhere that like the time variants are not picking up. It's a great scene, but also it's a funny scene, seeing how this Loki is so you know, theatrical and like very centric, you know, and like full of himself, you know, as we see him for the last 10 years, right? And it's such a great scene, and I think everyone from this show has done a really good job of handling these, you know, expositions and information, because I the MCU are like a hit and miss when they do their like expositions and stuff. Like I think like Thor: The Dark World is the worst one, and then second afterwards is like the Ant-Man films, which they're fine, but like when they do their science, like it gets kind of like numb for me, and it's like
Yeah, there's a good line in Ant-Man and the Wasp, where they're doing their like exposition dump, and Scott Lang says something along the lines of like, you can't just add quantum to something and make it make
yes,
sense.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, at least that movies acknowledge that compared
Yeah,
to Thor.
they
Yeah,
they lampshaded a little bit.
yeah, exactly. That was a great scene. I love that scene. That was funny. But yeah, that was a great scene from him and the Was, and Paul was great. And yeah, and then, you know, piggyback here. I love how the next scene we go to Pompeii,
Hmm.
and like they're testing out the theory, and then I love my way of Loki just, you know, disrupting like the time, and then it came true, and that was like such a great scene of, and oh my god, that's a great scene. Just them discovering that, you know, like it actually is true, the theory that she's hiding an apocalypse, and so, or an apocalyptic event, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, so, and it was there, and then we get like a couple great scenes of, you know, them investigating, and then I like how you say Mobius then thought about the bubble gum that he
Hmm.
got from I think Italy from the first episode or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it might have been France.
France, yeah, yeah, it was a Pacific town they were in, but
Hmm.
um, and like then they figure out, okay, if we find, you know, the factory or some area or time that they created for the bubble gum, that's where, you know, the variant Loki is at.
Hmm.
So we get that, and then Loki finds the Ruscon. Um, yes, the 2050 Alabama hurricane. That's in another time where uh, that's where the variant is at. So everyone is pretty much going to the Roscon car. By the way, cool cutout for the Roscon company.
Yeah, I love that they just keep popping up like in the background of
Yes,
a Marvel thing. Like I really want them. I think it's really gonna pay off when they're like front and center, because
yes.
they kind of were in like Cloak and Dagger, but no one
Mm,
watched that. And I think they were in Agent Carter season 2 as well.
yes. They were
Uh,
in Iron Man 3. Um, like
right, the oil rig at the end.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
and
I want them to be like central to the plot, because I know they're like a big like villainous corporation in the
yeah,
comics.
yeah. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
Um,
like I they were doing it with Agent Carter and
Cloak.
Cloak and Dagger,
Yeah,
but yeah, I want them. I want Marvel Studios to do something with them.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, they got a lot, you know, villains they
Yeah,
can
yeah, they got
use.
a lot to do.
Yeah, so I hopefully they do it. I mean, it has to be in the right character. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I'm sure they'll do it eventually. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 I. Yeah. It's very interesting when they have these references, and like sometimes it doesn't get paid off or not. So I'm very curious. I mean, it just could have been just like a very funny, or like a cool Easter egg for the comic book fans, really. You know.
yeah, and I'm sure
I.
that's what it was. It just there's been so many that I think
I know.
it's gonna be really fun when it like finally like pays off and they use it.
Yeah. I think they just need like someone that people know to be connected with the Roxxon
Hmm.
company, and I mean, the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Was,
Okay, yeah,
used.
I haven't played it yet because I don't have PS5.
Oh,
But
okay. I mean,
uh,
you mentioned how Rexon are major villains.
mhm,
They're in that game, so but
nice.
I gotta leave that right there.
Yeah,
So you know,
I really want to play it, and like I could get the PS4 version, but I want you know
the
I
the
want to
high.
have like the high quality experience.
Uh, and
Uh,
is that like is there a difference from the PS4 to the PS5?
the
I mean,
graphics are a little better and
oh,
the loading times are shorter.
that's true.
Um, but I could play it on PS4 and I wouldn't be missing anything.
Yeah, I mean, I in my opinion, I think you should get it. I mean,
Mhm.
I, uh, I just feel like like the iPhone. I don't like these constant upgrades of these things,
Yeah, yeah,
and I feel like it's better to just use one console and then able to get these things.
yeah.
But
Well, there are other games I want for the PS5 too.
oh
Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
true. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I'm not a big video game, so like, I just feel like that constant is just a little, I don't know, too too extreme sometimes.
yeah.
But it's not as bad as the iPhones.
Oh,
Um,
every year there's a new one
yeah,
coming.
every year. Yeah. So then, after they arrive to the Roxanne Court Mall or
Hmm.
shopping thing, we got a cool funny scene of Lucky drying up his clothes and Hunter B-15 reacting to that and then we get everyone gets separated and then we get Loki and Hunter walking around and then this is where we get a cool and great like final act of this episode of Loki talking to this version of Loki. And what do you thought about, it's, leading up to the reveal, like, of her, jumping into these bodies and seeming differently from Loki, Um, what do you thought about that whole
Yeah.
scene?
Um, I don't know. I'm really curious about like what her plan is. Um,
Yeah.
I thought the idea of like stealing all the reset charges and sending them throughout the timeline all at once was seems like a good like chaotic plan, um, like fitting for a Loki variant.
Yes.
And I think it's gonna cause a lot of like fun scenes later in the show. Like, it's a good setup for the rest of the series.
Yes.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, I really enjoyed the like body swapping scene before that.
yes. I
Um,
love that. I love the effect of the green. Um,
mhm,
that the green energy you see. It was very cool.
yeah,
And the actors feel like those characters and feel like that version of Loki, the female Loki, and they did a great job. Excuse me. Uh, uh, yeah, and of course, Moby has catch up with the other Miniman that was captured from Lady Loki from the beginning, Hunter C-20, and and it was interesting. She told her about the whereabouts of timekeepers, and then it's interesting that the female Loki say she didn't care about the timekeepers, like that wasn't her plan,
hmm,
like because like Loki thinks she's because Tom Hiddleston's version of Loki wants to overthrow the timekeepers, right?
right,
And then you got this other version that's not the plan. That's not her end game, and
right.
and no pun intended, folks. And, and I'm just right now. I'm like, right now my head is like starting to get overwhelmed with the versions of Loki's we're gonna get soon. I'm a little,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I, because like, well, the thing is Loki. Like, I, I was so crushed. about how he didn't wait for Mobius and he just went in. Like,
You could see that he like hesitated though.
yeah, I know that. I, let me ask you something. What you thought about that scene? Because I felt sad for Mobius because I mean, it's interesting how they like the show is very interesting because like everyone knows Loki and his like trickery, right?
Mhm.
And then and like oh my god, it's like it was one of the most like oh my god heart wrenching moment for me. It's like why you did that, Loki? Oh my god. And you're
And
right, Will. Like he did hesitate a little bit.
yeah, but I think the female Loki had like more of the answers that he wanted, so it makes sense that he went with her instead of going back to Mobius.
Yeah, that's true. Um, I guess we can discuss quickly about Lady Loki and like and I guess to ask you, Will, like where you were like were you aware that Lady Loki was going to be in the show? Um,
Yeah, I'd heard rumors, and I know that
okay,
they had cast that actress as some like undisclosed role, and that's just what everyone was assuming it was going to be.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway, why 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 studios still do that? Like people can easily expect that they're this certain character.
I don't know. I mean, to keep the surprise, maybe for like more casual
Yeah,
viewers.
yeah. I mean, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I mean, I just feel like that's because um, to add that theory is like there was like a paparazzi photo of her
Okay.
wearing the costume, and
Uh huh.
so like it added
So
for
everyone knew already. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, but sticking with Lady Loki, the thing that people has been discussing about, and I don't know, like if you have this opinion, Will, about um, in the comics, Lady Loki has a brunette hair, like the male version
Yeah.
of Loki, right? When we have to reveal her, and by the way, I love the horns, the missing horn. That's
Hmm.
from the comics. That was great nod to that. Um, she has blonde hair, and then people are now theorizing it's kind of like a abomination of Loki to Enchantress. Like, you think that's what they're doing? Well, like,
I saw it on Reddit earlier this week.
mhm,
Someone had taken a screenshot of one of the papers that Loki had been reading at the TVA,
okay,
and it named one of the variants as I forget the name, but it was like um,
Silva,
something, yeah, uh, Lafrey
Civilian,
daughter instead of Lafrey son.
yeah.
Um, and that's the name of Loki's daughter in the comics.
Oh, okay,
And she has pretended to be the Enchantress at certain points in the
okay,
comics.
okay,
So
okay.
it
I
might just
prefer,
be like an amalgamation of a bunch of different things.
yeah, or tricksters, we have to
Yeah.
say, because well, I I mean, have you seen well, no, you see Avengers Earth Minus Heroes, and you thought
Hmm.
the
The
enchant
Enchantress. Yeah.
yeah, in there was like a trickster or like more like a like female villain. Like I don't know,
Yeah. She's
like
like definitely a villain, but she's got that like trickster
okay,
energy. Yeah.
okay, okay, because I I was thinking in my head is like well, okay, how does a trenches it like is it I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be uh, Lady Loki, but there's gonna be inspiration from
Mm,
uh, the Enchantress.
okay. I mean, okay, because I never thought about Enchantress. I mean, like, of course of course I like that character, and I was hoping to see her in one of the Thor films.
Hmm. Still
And
might, still might show up
it,
in the
yeah,
future.
yeah.
Yeah.
I and I was very surprised about people, like of the hair color, uh,
Hmm.
and I was like, I mean, that's the style they went to, and I thought it was good because it fit with the golden, horns that Loki wears every time, you
Hmm.
know, and show his like, his, his uh, his eccentric personality, and but I come around with the theories that like she's like a version of Loki, maybe is like mixed with Enchantress, and I like your theory more, Will, like her being like a daughter to Loki. That makes a lot of sense, you know, a version of Loki having a daughter, of
Yeah.
course.
Well, no, I think it will be like a female version of Loki, but I think it'll
Hmm.
be the like characterization will be influenced by his daughter from the comics.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, okay, so we got that review right, and then we
Hmm.
got her activating, the time chargers that she's been stealing, the research chargers from every Miniman, and like, and she completely spread it into the other, timelines, right? And then creating new branch timelines, right? Throwing the TVA into uh, this rate, right? And by the way, I love the scene where we cut back to the TVA um place, and like one of those guys for like he was looking the menu about this graphic event that's happening right now, and then the other guy say like he and then the other guy, his partner that was sitting next to him, like cut off him, and then he's like I don't know what he say. I forgot what the other guy say, but like it was a funny scene.
Yeah, just like instead of using all the different code numbers, it's just like
Yes.
someone bombed the timeline.
Yes, Bond the Tiger. Yes, it's like, oh my god, yes, and it was, oh my god. Um, and by the way, I want to mention something here. That we didn't mention the first episode. I mean we did is the music. Um, I love the music here,
Hmm.
in this show. It's probably the best MCU music, and I feel like that scene alone had the best like just like, oh my god, kind of music of like getting into that mood, and like, oh my god, I love the score here by the composer. I'm trying to figure out what's her name. Natalie Holt. I really like her music here in the show, and it reminds me a lot of the Clockwork Orange music, and especially with the opening titles, and and uh, it's incredible music. I really love this. I love that MCU has stepped up their game with their scores as of late, because that's been like a major complaint from people that they don't have memorable music in their movies, from phase well, mostly in phase 2, because they like disregard so much the music from their previous films, and so well, I thought to bring that up. And then and I want to ask you something. Well, like, you think this lady Loki is the main villain for this show?
Could be. I mean, we're still waiting on that other undisclosed role,
Yes.
right?
From
So I feel like um, that could also be the main villain, or maybe Lady Loki um, bombing the timeline was so she could create a bunch of branches and recruit other Loki variants,
That's true. That's true.
like a council of Lokis.
Oh my god. Yes. The Castellar Lokis. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes. Yeah. I think that could happen. We seen a couple scenes like well, like now I'm kind of questioning which one is the real Loki. Like, is the election Loki, is that that's our Loki, right? And then
Yeah.
and and then we have there was another scene that was interesting. There was one scene where Loki's in Asgard and like he's the king there. So I'm very curious about that scene in this show. And yeah, and then I think we're gonna see the him talking to the lady Loki in that like apocalypse world they're in from the trailers, and so I'm very curious about that. Um, yeah, I think uh, I I feel like um, Lady Loki could be the main threat, or maybe she reveals that maybe the Timekeepers is the villains of the show.
Could be, yeah. Or is there
Right?
they'll frame it in a way where like having one timeline is bad, and there should be more like chaos, and then so the multiverse gets created.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And then I guess to wrap things up, yeah. There. Anything else you want to say about Lady Loki? Will that we haven't mentioned that I'm maybe missing? I
Um, Nothing that I can think of. I mean, we haven't seen too much of her yet.
Yeah.
Really excited for the next episode though, so we can like learn more
Yes.
about her.
Yes. I'm really excited about learning more about her as well. Will. Yeah. I'm so excited for episode 3 on Wednesday. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's kind of get into things that were kind of interesting. Speaking of Lady Loki, I like how her powers echo the Scarlet Witch and the Mind Stone stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was a cool way. Like she does do like the hand gesture of like affecting the people's minds and mind control them. That was very cool.
Yeah, and similar to the power that Loki used in the Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. And then also we haven't mentioned when before Loki and the Minutemen go to the Renaissance Fair, they first showed the various Loki that are in the timeline. Like we see, this version of Loki, Frost Giant appearance because it's the Frost Giant, and then you got the other Lokis, uh, Viking Loki. We got like a Hulk Loki, like
Yep.
a and uh, and then there was other Loki that was like he won like some tournament. I don't know. That was funny. So yeah, so we got that. Viking Loki is from the comics. He's in Mighty Thor Volume 3. So that was cool to see. And then another cool Easter egg is Dragonfly. And in the Renaissance Fair, you see like a flyer and one of those like tents, and you see Dragonfly. She's another character that's from the comics in the X-Men universe. And then what else we got here? Oh, then the number 372 is a reference to the comics 1986 issue of Mighty Thor, where the TVA first appear. Oh, and the reception, the secretary girl that
Mm-hmm.
Loki talks to. Sometimes people are putting her together with the slot girl from Monsters Inc. Um, the slot
Yeah,
creature.
yeah,
I mean, I don't like. She doesn't have a grassy voice like that
yeah,
character.
and the glasses.
Oh my god, yes, the glasses. Um, yeah, and then another cool thing was Ragnarok gets mentioned again, and you see Loki's reaction to it, and like that was another great scene, and the music as well. We hear like the Asgard theme coming back, and like just seeing his reaction to it. Um, and what else we get here? Uh, I think that's it. Oh, and speaking of uh, the timeline charters, we got very interesting locations that the Lady Loki put them in. We got a mention of Titan. We got the mention of Eagle. the Living Planet from Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Asgard. Like, what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That
Uh,
I that was it was interesting.
yeah, see what they do with it.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see Ego in the show. I just seeing a version of Kurt Russell. Uh, oh my god,
Yeah,
but we'll see. I mean, that's what I want to see.
yeah. I'm not holding out for any big cameos in this, but
Yeah,
it'd be fun. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe we'll see like the planet and not
yeah.
Russell.
That's true. All right. I think um, anything else we have to mention? Besides that, I think we covered everything, right? Will?
Yeah, I think that's it from me.
Yeah. Um, I think overall this was the best episode. I've been really liking the show. I think the show, um, I think I want to mention is the running time. I think 15 minutes above it is the best time for these shows. I feel like
If you want
because
there to be 15 more minutes than
yeah.
there currently are, okay.
Oh no. Like I think
Sure.
the time, the minutes in Loki has been much more efficient and
Oh,
more.
50. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't clear. I feel like these are enough time for these episodes because I I feel like they're getting stuff done, but also being entertained at the same time.
Right.
So I've been enjoying so far with the pacing of the show. I will say this is much better than The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
In my
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I feel in my opinion that show had I mean they had their high highs, but they also had their very low lows.
Yeah. I'm hesitant to compare this one to the ones that we've seen in full yet because I don't know. Like WandaVision was really good until like the last episode.
Yeah.
And it was just okay. So
Yeah.
I don't want to compare them until I've seen the whole thing. But so far it's been really good.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm not ready yet to compare it to WandaVision, but I can definitely say it's
Yeah. It's better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's I feel more confident with that because I definitely want to watch WandaVision, and I think later on the year, you and I should do like a podcast to look back on the Disney Plus shows we have for this year, and like have an overall discussion about how they did and what didn't work. I think that would be a good discussion to talk about all these Disney Plus shows and how they exceed or not. And so far I feel like Loki has been exceeding all fronts, and when you get into like the theories and the fan theories, it's kind of the course of fun, but also like just keep your mind open, for expectations, but so far Loki has meeting my expectations, and I've been enjoying the show, so far. So, anything else you want to say, Will, before we head out?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, so, folks, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Me and Will will be back next week, of course, to talk about Loki, episode 3. I'm very curious about what episode 3 title is going to be. I actually like the titles of these shows. Really explains overall the theme of this episode. And have any personal episode titles do you like from these shows? Do you like the ones from WandaVision and this show, or?
Yeah, I liked WandaVision's. They're all just like
it was fun.
Television terms. Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. My favorite was previously on
the flashback one. Yeah.
Yes, I love that one. That was good. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Will, for joining me, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Well, everyone, guys, see you guys next week, and please hit that subscribe button, and see you guys later.